Hey, 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 welcome back to another episode. I want to just share some moments that I just have had some gratitude today and also talk a little bit about goals and dreams and just why they're so important to have, okay? So today our the company that I am a business partner with in partnership with had their one of their conferences. They have twice, two of them twice a year, and today was one of them, and it was virtual. So you either could be in person in Texas, or you could be virtual anywhere in the world. And so I tuned in from Oregon, and so, we had a few hours in the morning and then a few hours in the afternoon. And the founder, I've been with this company for almost 5 years. And the founder was, the CEO for many years. They've been around for over 20 years. And he was the CEO for most of that. And then just almost 2 years ago, we are in our second year with the new CEO, and the new CEO, him and his wife, she's also part of the corporate team. They actually were leaders in the company and were in the field just like myself for almost 10 years, around 10 years. And so just being able to see that they've done what we do, and I really love that and admire that. But we got to hear from all of them, plus several other wonderful speakers and leaders and guests, and this new up and coming artist, and like all these just wonderful things. And it was just the coolest experience, and it was really neat. And so there's just lots of reminders that I heard today. And so I just want to kind of share them, because some of them, because I just feel like sometimes we can get into a rut, especially like with summer and the kids. If you're a parent, your kids are out of school. If you go to school yourself, or even you have a job that relates around where you have summers off or part of the summer off or things of that nature, a lot of people do vacations and travel during the summertime. And so we kind of tend to get a little relaxed on our goals, or kind of get off course, or I hate to use the term lazy, but we get sidetracked, we get distracted. Feel like we have less time in our day to get a lot of things done. So like some things just get put on the back burner or get put off until the kids are starting to get back into school. And I feel like September's kind of been that, and part of August for some people. We've been kind of getting back in the groove and getting back in the swing of things, and getting a routine again, right? And so with that, I notice that you kind of start looking at your plan, and my life coach was just talking to us at the end of August, and she was like, self evaluate. She's like, where are you at? Like, where have you hit your marks? Like, she calls them base camps, and she's like, your base camp 1, base camp 2, and go all the way up to base camp. Some people go to like base camp 7 or 8. It just depends on like what your goals are, but like every goal that you're hitting is a base camp, and it's a level. And it's like growth, and so like just that self-reflection is so imperative, right? And we forget to do that. And then the other thing that really made me think about it was, um, as we're doing self-reflection, are we reflecting in a positive way, or are we like focusing on the things that we can't fix or don't think we can fix, on the negative stuff, on the stuff that's not going to like get us where we want to go? Are we doing more complaining instead of gratitude? And so that those are like things and kind of key pivotal things that we really want to go into the next, I call it the next quarter, the next season, the next 2 seasons, fall and winter, going into those, like, where do you want to see yourself? And I think that really was pivotal for me, because I always think about life is constantly like a new season. Like we have 4 seasons in the year, right? And they're constantly we're changing seasons. And so like we're into the next season, coming out of, going out of summer and coming into fall. Like, where do you see yourself by the end of fall, and then by the end, of the year? And I know winter goes into, the new year. So like, where do you see yourself at the end of the year? Where do you see yourself with the new year? And these are like little questions that you can ask, and don't be afraid to like dream big. Like a lot of people tell you, that you want like these benchmarks and things. Yes, those are wonderful. You do want those. Like you've got to have to fill in the gap, right? But if you don't have that big, big goal and you're not looking at that, you're only going to always stay in those little spots. And it's like what we can vision and see and what's been placed on our heart is our dream. And so many people used to look at me like I was crazy for wanting more and that I was crazy for wanting to level up the way I would say. And after a while, it kind of messed with my head. I'm not gonna lie, it messed with my mindset. But what I realized was that I was the one holding me back. Like I was the one that, wasn't pivoting or wasn't choosing to be grateful for the season I was in. Change is constantly happening around us, and it's not like against us. It's really for us. And so everything is for you. And if you can start having that kind of mentality, then even the stuff that's not so great won't look like it's bad. It's just going to be not so great. And then you're going to have great stuff. And so like if you can start seeing life like that, it really changes the lens that you're looking through. It's that perspective. And gratitude really helps with that. And so as you're moving in with a new season, you can also teach your kids these things. You guys can spend 5 minutes in the morning talking about the things you're grateful for and having them jot down things that they're grateful for. And, each of you write something on the paper, like what you're grateful for, and you can have a lot of fun with it. And I think what I'm going to do with my kids this year too, even though they're older, I think it'll just be a fun family activity and something that my younger son will really thrive on. And I might even do it with my nieces and nephews too, maybe like a family get together, but I'm going to have them find those leaves and do the leaf printing and then put their names on them and actually like turn them into cute little fall decorations and things. I think they would just be really cute. But I haven't done that with them in years. And so it's just being intentional and spending intentional time where you're putting your time. And so like for me, I my dreams and goals correlate with my family. If I am working and grinding, nonstop, then I'm not following the dream and goal that I set for myself and my family. I know I do not have to grind and I do not have to have that kind of a mindset to achieve the things I want to achieve. It really is about my mindset and really focusing on what I want to grow. And it's really powerful when you realize what a manifester you are and what a creator you are and what you bring to the table. By asking, the universe, your higher power, for me, it's God, by just asking for what it is that you truly desire and want. And it's not greedy. Imagine what it's going to do and how it's going to impact your life, and also by impacting your life, how is it going to impact those people around you? And I think that really people struggle with like a money mindset. And there's books for that. Like I can go over that on another topic and do some reviews on some books. I would love to do that for you guys, just to give you some insight. But there's like money mindset, and you can have a locked money mindset. And I actually did. I used to hear things like money was the root of all evil. And it's not true. Like you should love money. You should have a really healthy relationship with money. And by learning little things, like I was able to bless a family with some money, and they were going to be getting married and they were paying like a lot of things out of their pocket. And I knew it was somebody that was really near and dear to my heart. And I just knew that it would really help alleviate some of her stress. And so I got to like just bless her with this money. And it was such a rewarding thing to do. And I just felt so honored to be able to do it for her, just to be able to love on her. And I wouldn't have had the opportunity to do it at that time had I not been given the blessed myself to be able to do it. And so it was like a full circle. And that experience really taught me a lot because it let me see that, you know, you can give a little and it can be a lot. And you can give a lot and it may not seem like it at all. Like you feel like it didn't even dent what you were working toward, right? But you know it's doing something. And it's always a work in progress. Like things are always moving, things are always growing and happening for us. And so I feel like that really showed me, really that was the truth for me. That really, really is what helped me the most grow and be able to be a better me and be able to vision things and have those things happen, like make them happen. And so um you don't have to be anybody special to be able to be successful. And I feel like a lot of people hold themselves back from their dreams and their goals and like things that they really, really would love to do, and it's because they're worried about what a family member is going to say, or a friend's going to say, or somebody that they work with is going to say. They're really deep down, they're really scared of being judged and being critiqued. And they don't want to upset people or don't want to hurt them, right? Because some of them, they know they did it for, like, maybe they did it because they wanted to honor a loved one, right? But then they're like falling like out of desire or out of passion with what they're doing. And they realize they're more passionate deep down about something else. Guess what? That's okay. And I think that's the beauty of being able to do a multiple streams of income, or being able to adapt and change careers. Like, we're not meant to be trees and rooted and like stuck in the ground forever. Like, we are allowed to, like, you can find roots and you can do that if you want to. Like, that's wonderful, but not everybody wants to or desires to, like. And so, like, whatever it is for you, you just be rooted in that. And then you just find the ways that you make it work for you. And you have to really let go of the worrying about other people's opinions, and that's where it really helps to work on your self image and like how you view yourself and how you think other people view you. And like, what is your response to that? Like, for a long time, my self-image used to keep me from having my dreams and goals met. It used to hold me back. It used to make me live in like really a lot of anxiety and fear. And this last year, I really noticed some of the anxiety that I worked really hard for almost 5 years now, have been working so hard to get rid of the 37 plus panic attacks a day and the anxiety. And I suffered with that stuff for over 37 years. And I really just lived in fear forever, and the trauma that I had endured was just a lot. And so um I really didn't want to hold on to that. And so this last year I kind of felt that little bit of stuff creeping in and those old feelings, and I realized that I needed to like really detox my life, the people in my life, the things in my life, like me. Like, there was just things that I needed to do to restore my alignment. Like, my heart, my soul was out of alignment, and I was literally struggling. And I don't know if it makes sense to you, but I was just really struggling. And once I started doing those things, it took a little while, but I had faith in just knowing that I prayed on them. I didn't just go do crazy stuff. Like, I really talked to my higher power about it and really made those decisions. And when I just followed faithfully, and that's what I'm doing. And not everybody's going to understand my journey, but that's okay. Not everybody's meant to understand our journey, and that's okay. But what I just want to tell you is, like, don't be afraid to go do something that makes other people uncomfortable. Don't be afraid to go do something that makes you uncomfortable. And most importantly, don't be afraid to go do it if it's something that you truly like, you really wanna do it, and the only thing that's holding you back is, like, fear or other people's opinions, or that little doubt creeping in. Like, if it's something that you can't take your mind off, like, you wake up in the morning, you're thinking about it, you go to bed at night, you're thinking about it, kinda like me with this podcast, and also writing my book and my business. Like, I literally, all of those things, I gravitated toward because I knew that I liked them, I loved them. Just like the art side of me, like me being an artist, like, I realized that, like, I have a variety of interests, and so I just need to focus on the ones that I want to accomplish, and knowing that, um, where I put my focus is what's going to grow. And so I'm just super, super excited that now knowing these things, because before I didn't know a lot of this, the different, the different ways that I was self-sabotaging, to be honest. But now I know, like now I know what it feels like when I am trying to hold myself back because it just doesn't feel good. My stomach doesn't feel good. Like I don't know how to explain it, but knots in your stomach. Whereas when you're on the right track and you're doing the right things for yourself and the things that you love, you truly do feel at peace. You truly do feel at peace. And when you're somebody who has lived with like chaos and like not peace, like no peace in your life, all of your life, and then all of a sudden you're, having to silence your mind and learn how to quiet it, it takes time. So I recommend like 5 minutes a day of just being quiet or listening to some quiet meditation music or soft music with no words, and just quiet your mind for 5 minutes and then increase it to 10 minutes and then slowly increase it to 15. Like do 5 minutes for a week or two or however good it feels. Once it starts feeling really easy, see if you can go a little longer, set a 10-minute timer. And then really stretch that brain and stretch your mindset, because that really is what it is. And then it's calming the nervous system. A lot of people don't understand how powerful our nervous system is and how it can get really disrupted, and it can really make you feel sick and ill. And I didn't realize that. And so I actually learned some really cool breathing techniques from my life coach, and there's some you can get on YouTube too. I'll try to share a link. I'll make like a playlist of things that I do, meditation ones that I listen to, so you guys will have them. Um, but honestly, that's really what had helped me, and it was like a slower process for me, just because I fought it. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, this is crazy. I can't be quiet. And I fought it for a little bit until finally I just realized I needed to do this for myself. And so if that's you, maybe like that's where you're at right now, is you're just like, I need to do this for myself. Like I'm just sick of being where I'm at. We've all been there, just so you know, like you're not alone in that. Like so many people have felt that. And I feel like people beat themselves up and they like do all these crazy things when only like all they really needed to do was just do those six lists, like the six things that are on their list each day. Tonight, I'm going to make my list of what all I need to accomplish for tomorrow. And tomorrow's my rest day. It's Sunday. And then Sunday night, I go over and make my list for Monday, the six things that I want to get done that are priority. I list them 1 through 6, which one's most important. And I check off those things on the list, and I don't try to overdo it. And so many people can't do that. It's really hard for them. The things I know I need to do, I don't put them on the list. But if I feel like I'm struggling with getting them accomplished, they go on the list as priority one. And I shorten my list because I don't want to not get it done. And so your way, if six things is a lot for you in a day, then set one for 3 or 4 things. Like you have to figure out what works for you. I didn't start off doing 6 things a day. I had to develop that habit. And so the goal is to get to that, though. If you feel like you can do it, give it a whirl. Like the worst case is the things you don't get accomplished, you put on the list the next day, and that's okay too. There's days that happens just because some things take a little longer. The other thing is you can get a lot time for each thing, like set alarms to where you're allotting time, because when you're doing this, you're actually having goal achievable actions. And so those goal achievable actions are helping you get the things done that you know you need to get done for your goals, and for the things that you want to accomplish in each day. And so I know this has been kind of all over the place and a little random, but I just thought these tips were going to be helpful for somebody, because I know there are moments when I'm just like staring at everything that I need to get done, and I'm like, okay, I know I need to get this done, but I have no idea where to even begin. So I always say, do one thing for yourself, and then do one thing for your family, and then do one thing for your goals or your business. If your business is what is, part of your goals. But if it's like a certain goal that you're working on, then do one thing for them. And then once you've done that, the rest is all extra. Now, here's also what I'm going to tell you. So I have my business, but then I also am writing a book, and I'm also doing my podcast. So I have days where I record my podcast, right? Those are like non-negotiable. And then I have And then I have time where I have allotted extra to work on my book. So I didn't take time away from my business. Instead, I took time away from like my fun time. And I still allotted myself some downtime and I still allotted myself some fun time. But I really just decided that I was committed to this specific amount of time each day, no matter where I could squeeze it into my day, specifically between certain amount of time, certain times of the day. So I'm not doing it like working right before bed or anything like that. But I did that and it's been so helpful. And then I give my brain and my body time off from the story. I think it's important when you're doing things like you're working toward a goal. If you're constantly trying to do it every single day, it just isn't as effective. And so I love that like I'm going back and reviewing things and going back and double checking and just really being intentional with everything that I'm touching. And that's in every area of my life. Just being really, really intentional with everything I'm doing in my conversations and my time with my family and like every single thing. My business, my extra things that I have going on behind the scenes, like everything is just intention, intention, intention. And that has made it to where I enjoy it more. There's less focus on like, oh man, I'm tired, and more focus on that was so awesome. Like that was such a good trip. That was so much fun. Like I'm just enjoying my life more. And we're meant to enjoy the journey. Like the whole point of this isn't to hit that big crazy goal necessarily. Yeah, you're gonna hit it. We already know you are. It's to enjoy the process of what you're doing and to find yourself along the way and grow yourself along the way. And so many people miss that point. That's the most important part of it. And people are stressing over not being able to pay bills and not be able to do this, not be able to do that. But they don't understand that the more they talk about that, the more they attract it and the more they bring it into their world. But if you're just enjoying life, having fun, doing all these great things, you will naturally attract the things that you want. And you will, it's just naturally like, you'll be like, how did this come? Oh, I can't believe that happened. Wow, that was crazy. Wow, that showed up. Oh, wow, I was just thinking about that. I was just thinking of that person. I was just thinking of that thing. And it's true, like it just happens. And so, not saying you don't have to put in the work. You absolutely still have to put in the work, but it becomes inspired work. It becomes inspired action versus, oh, I guess I better go mark this task off my task list. Oh, I better go check this off because someone said I had to do it. Instead, it becomes inspired work and you start enjoying it and you start having fun and you start wanting to do more of it. And that's no one's going to find that or do that for you but you. I can't teach or coach anyone how to do that. That inspired action has to come from the individual themselves, and they have to choose to put the time aside to grow and learn and give themselves the time to actually apply all the things that they've been reading and listening to and have trained on, and like and now it's time to apply it. And it only needs to be a half an hour to an hour in the morning to a half an hour to an hour in the afternoon, or evening. And so many people are doing these crazy amounts of shifts and hours, and you don't have to. And so like we're really overthinking things. Like we're really overthinking things. And I've just it's so crazy because somebody's gonna hear this and be like, she don't know what she's talking about. I am just telling you that the more you can start treating your life like it's the only one you have and how wonderful it is to enjoy it and to live it and to the best of your ability, the happier you're going to be. And the money will come, the things will flow as long as you're positive and you are speaking life over what it is you want instead of speaking death over what it is you don't want. Start speaking life over what it is you do want. You're naturally, those things are going to show up and you're going to be mind blown, but then you're going to know, like after a while, it's just a knowing, like you're like, ah, I know that was you. And I always point to God. I'm like, up to this guy. I'm like, I know that was you, God. Just those little moments, those pivotal moments where, I, needed $1,000 to repair my car. I was $1,000 short and I actually wanted kind of like earned it by me doing my work. My leader actually blessed some of us with money and it was a random draw. And I had the most points. You know what I mean? Like, and And that was just it was incredible, and that was something that when I seen that happen, I was like, "Whoa, if I can literally say I'm gonna go get that $1,000 that she's given away for my car, then I know I can do more." You know what I mean? Like, I know I can ask bigger and not be afraid to. And it was cool because I was able to put my car in the shop and get it fixed, like, you know what I mean? And then there's just been moments, and it's not just in my business, like, in my own life with my spouse, like, just our journey and how we got to each other. It's incredible. It's incredible. And when you start just putting your dreams out there, just start speaking those things, and you don't have to tell the world. You just need to speak it out loud and write it down. Get a journal, start journaling every day. Journal, 3 to 5 things that you're grateful for, and make it a goal to get to 10. Like, that's your ultimate goal, is 10 a day. And literally just start, like, being grateful, truly, truly, genuinely grateful for every little thing, like the air you breathe, the food that's on the table, like, so many things that you have to be grateful for. And, your family, your loved ones, imagine if you weren't grateful, like, if there was one person that you forgot to be grateful for and then they just weren't there tomorrow, like, you want to be grateful for every single person in your life, right? Every single person who's ever been in your life, like, they taught you something. You had a blessing or a lesson somewhere. And so that's literally, like, if I can always keep that in mind, no matter what I'm going through, no matter the valleys, no matter the mountaintops, no matter the climb, no matter the downhill race, because sometimes you're the boulder's chasing you. Sometimes you're pushing the boulder up the hill, and sometimes it's running after you. Um, but just think about, no matter what, you're always going to just be so renewed and so excited. Like, each week, as you're self-reflecting, take an hour or two and self-reflect on how your day went, how your weeks went, like how your days went. And just sit back and just say, like, what went good. 3 things that went good. 3 to 5 things that went good, and then 3 things that you could improve upon. And then, what did you learn? And what was your blessings? And those, like, look at the way you're focusing on that. The way you're focusing on that is going to shift everything for you, because you're not going to focus on what's not going right. You're going to focus on the things that you want to grow more, right? And so it really does shift and change you. And so it's something to just think about, that has been heavy on me wanting to share it with you, because so many people will hear have a positive mindset, have a positive mindset, have a positive mindset, but they, like, really don't know what they're like. I didn't know what the heck I was doing, and I always struggled, and I tried all kinds of personal development, but it was the application part. It was truly the application part. And so once you start applying it, you've got to switch those negatives and null and void them, and change them to a positive. And I was just talking to one of my kids about forgiveness and, like, letting go and letting people, like, just letting them be. Um, Sometimes we don't understand their journey, or we can mistake the way that they're behaving or acting or what they're going through for something else. And we really don't know what's going on in someone else's head. Like, let's just be transparent. Like, we can guess all day long, but not everything is cookie cutter. And so it's so important that we find forgiveness in those situations when something didn't go the way you wanted them to. We got to find forgiveness. And I'm not saying you have to forget. I'm saying you forgive, because you don't deserve to live with the poison and the toxin that not forgetting creates. Holding on to bitterness just creates poison inside your body and in your mind and your spirit. And it creates bitter roots, and those are just toxic for you and everybody around you. And so forgiveness is a healing process for you. It's you saying that you love yourself enough and you value yourself enough that you're willing to let it go and not hold on to it. And by doing that, you're actually releasing anything that could have caused you pain or suffering, and you get to live a more fulfilled life in the long run, because it will actually, not forgiving somebody or a situation or the things can actually kill you. Like, that stress from that, and that bitterness, and that the grossness that comes with it, the pain and the suffering, it can actually be very, very detrimental to your health. And people don't understand that. Like it can be so detrimental to your health. And so just think about that. Like, is there something that you're holding on to? And it could be like I held on to stuff for decades. And as soon as I let it go, I was just a completely different person. Just everything changed. And so is there something that you're holding on to that is stopping you from hitting those higher achiever goals, stopping you from getting those, successful things that you've been wanting or feeling more successful or more fulfilled? For me, I had a lot of bitterness, but once I started releasing it and letting go and forgiving and making peace with things, I feel like now I'm in a process where I do feel more successful now. I do feel like success is mine and can be mine. I do have more confidence in myself. I do love myself through and through. And it's taken a lot of years to get here. It's taken a lot of hard work and time to get here. And the funniest thing is people say it takes hard work. And it's a process and it's going to take time, but I don't believe anything is hard unless you make it hard. It's a mindset on whether or not it's difficult or not. I feel like, will there be challenges? Absolutely. That's part of the process. You're going to have contrast with the good. It's just going to you're going to have that. Um, and so like as you're pressing on and you're moving forward, you're going to have things that are going to get, obstacles that are going to get in the way. You just have to decide that they're not a problem, that you're just going to find a solution. And it's your perception. And so a lot of people will say and use the word, this is hard, this is hard, this is hard. And then that like keeps them from hitting the goal or keeps them from reaching what it is they're after. What I've learned is if I just tell myself from the very beginning that I know that I'm committed. Like I'm committed, and that means that if there's a moment where it does get too stressful or too chaotic, all I have to do is like go take a nap, go take a break, go do something that I really enjoy doing that's fun, that's relieves some stress or some, can take my mind off of things for a while and just like change and pivot and not quit the goal, not give up, but just go and take a break and not like forever break, like just a little break. And sometimes it's just, going out for a meal or spending some time with your family or going out in nature is such a good one, right? But these are things that we can be doing for ourselves while we can still be committed to hitting those goals and achieving them. And that's why I'm saying you don't have to do 16-hour days. Instead, you can really focus on what it is that you want and then allot some time for that each day and then feel really committed and good about that time. Like adhere to that time and like be so proud of yourself and so like grateful when you get it done and when you like were intentional and you weren't just slapping it there because the time clock said, but you really had intentional time with it. Sometimes you're going to feel moved to do it in the middle of the night or early in the morning or different times throughout the day. Always go with your intuition. Like always feel like you're intuitively called. Like if you feel like you're being pulled toward that, go do it. Like take that inspired action. I feel like that is what's helped me the most in relearning how not to be a workaholic. Changing from being a workaholic to just being just naturally somebody who wants to impact lives, right? And who I want to be that six-figure income earner, that seven-figure income earner. And if that's the case, then you know am I setting myself up to be completely exhausted by the end of it so I can't even enjoy what I've worked hard for? Or am I going to enjoy the process along the way and really fall in love with the whole thing? And it's just going to become the best experience, obviously, when you do that. And so I've seen so many people. I mean, obviously, there's things you're going to be doing. Like I know I have an event coming up at the new year, and I'll be doing some traveling and like I'm already preparing for those now though, and just getting so inspired and excited for them and just really prepping ahead of time, like making sure that I know what I'm going to be doing. So because I have so many big goals, right? And so really having that action plan. So I'm going to spend some of my downtime having an action plan and developing the action plan step by step so that I know what I'm doing and where I'm headed, just so I can fill in those gaps. And it's just for me, that works. And so everybody's a little different. but you have to figure out what works for you. And I'm not going to be upset if it doesn't go exactly as planned because it's going to go perfect no matter how it goes. And so I'm just going to be inspired to just go and impact lives and change lives and just being able to get my book published. That's literally my goal. My goal is for September. I may push it out to October. I just want to really make sure I have it exactly where I want it. And that's my first one. I've already started working on my second one. And so I have a second one in the works. So that's kind of really cool. I started that idea. I actually have a third one in mind as well. Like I really have all these things that are on top of my head. So I'm like really excited to have those and to be able to just inspire someone else and impact them. Um, the other thing was just being able to grow and revamp and realign my business. I feel like I'm in a new season with a bunch of new leadership coming in, a bunch of wonderful people who are just so excited to just grow with me and love Jesus with me and just fall in love with getting healthier and feeling better. And like these are all things that I have seen like already in visualizations and in my morning mindset work, like my meditations where like I've already seen like so many incredible things that we're going to experience together. And so just lights my fire to see just everything just unfolding as it is. And so I'm always just so grateful for what I get to do and who I get to do it with. And so just hopefully this can give you some insight on you can do anything you set your mind to. You just have to decide, not how necessarily how badly do you want it, but like why do you desire it? Like what makes you want it? Like what are you doing it for and who are you doing it for? And like are you ready to like fall in love with your journey yet? Because I think a lot of people want to go from A to Z and they don't realize that the whole point is for us to really fall in love with everything that's going on in our lives right now so that when we do get there, we've literally just soared and grown. Like we're being prepared for all of that greatness that we want. And we already have it inside of us. We're just being emotionally and spiritually prepared, physically prepared, because once you have it, it's so easy to get caught up and fall apart and get clumsy with it. And for me, I want to be so prepared by the Lord that I know it's built on a solid foundation. Like there's just such a solid foundation. And I think that is, I think, what excites me the most of out of the whole thing. And so I hope this helps somebody inspire you. And just know that my inbox is always, always open. And I just hope that you take all the tips and the tricks and just know that you're already equipped. Like I said, you have what you need inside. And so it's just a matter of you truly believing in yourself. And I just want you to know that I absolutely believe in you.